Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I am your host, Brian Scott. Today's episode is dedicated to a particular aspect of reality creation, and that is magnetism. What we want to do is magnetize what we want to bring into our life. This podcast has gone over a variety of spiritual laws of abundance and principles and techniques. And since I started this podcast, hundreds of thousands of people all over the world have used these techniques that I teach in my book, The Reality Revolution. I have heard from many of you with your questions, successes, and stories. I know the processes in my book are effective and they work. The spiritual principles and processes that you will learn have stood the test of time and will work for you. I strongly believe that the ability to manifest and magnetize objects, people, and situations, to take visions and dreams, hopes, and fantasies and make them real by attracting them into your life is one of the most important skills people can learn to empower themselves and become greater lights to the world around them. I want to help people learn how to create money and joy and happiness and other things that you want as tools for aliveness and growth. And I want you to let go of anxiety and confusion and guilt around money and desire and things in general. I want to help people learn how to trust and listen to their inner guidance and awaken their greatest potential and gain the confidence that comes from knowing that you can create whatever you want. I feel there are many people who are not doing their life's work because they do not know how to manifest and magnetize the money or the tools that they need. And they do not believe their paths or contributions are important. I have taught these principles to many people with many different goals. Some are drawn to my episodes because they want something for many years that they have not been able to create, or wanted money to launch a project they had thought about for a long time. Some wanted money so they could change jobs and become self-employed, go to school, or travel. Many have worked in one field and want to find work or create a career for themselves in a new field that reflected their changing interests. I get notes all the time from people who wonder how to create enough money to support themselves while they make this transition. And some simply want to learn how to create money so they could spend more time on their spiritual lives. As people have used the exercises I have taught, the affirmations, and created results with them, I have seen them change in marvelous ways. People have developed self-confidence and trust in the universe, and they discover that manifestation is a process of growth and increasing aliveness. They have learned to take responsibility for their lives with the discovery that they could have what they want come to them when they magnetize it. So, magnetism is a little different than just overall reality creation. In magnetism, you're drawing objects to you. Drawing the objects and forms and money and people you want into your life is easier when you work with energy and magnetism before you take action. I'm going to give some exercises in this episode and a couple of affirmations that we can use. For instance, general magnetizing and magnetizing a person you do not yet know, or magnetizing a number of people, or group magnetizing. But drawing the objects that you want into your life, that is magnetizing them. Creating with energy is done by getting quiet and relaxed, and then bringing images and symbols and pictures of what you want into your mind. Magnetizing what you want requires generating a magnetic force to draw things to you. Check out my episode that you are a field. This field can become magnetic or it can just be neutral. You work with energy and magnetism all the time, though usually not consciously. You can learn to consciously work with energy and magnetism to amplify the power of your thoughts and create what you are picturing. A few moments of energy work combined with magnetism and done with a sense of clarity about what you want can create greater results than hours of hard work. You're sending out an energy broadcast all the time. This broadcast may be attracting or repelling things you want. You can learn to increase your skill at magnetizing and become even more attractive to what you want. You start magnetizing what you want by working with your energy and learning to relax, focus, visualize, and use your imagination. Now stop. I know that you think this is just another generic law of attraction episode, but it's not. And yes, I'm bringing up generic things. But magnetizing is a unique skill. Magnetizing involves generating a magnetic field. The image of a magnetic coil is used to help you visualize and feel this magnetism. You can magnetize money, small or large objects, and indefinite things such as qualities and essence. You can also draw people to you who you will have a working relationship with, mentors, employees, employers, publishers, mechanics, and so on. You cannot use magnetism to change another person or force something to happen that is not in the best interest of both parties, for magnetism works only to draw those things to you that are in the best interest of all. Creativity, inventiveness, playfulness, and spontaneous imagination are your best tools when creating with energy. Every time you do the magnetism exercises in this episode, you will notice that you have different thoughts, feelings, and ideas. Manifestation is a dynamic state. It is always changing. The world is a dynamic state. Everything is moving in flow. Nothing is still. Nothing remains stagnant. The intensity of your magnetism and your pictures may not be the same from one time to the next. Use and expand your imagination and play with whatever image and feelings come up. The feeling of magnetism is more important than any of the individual steps. Once you experience this feeling, and it is a particular feeling, recreate it with any visualization or pictures that work for you. And the goal of this episode is to give you the feeling of being magnetic. I want you to begin by saying this affirmation on a regular basis until you can feel this feeling. I am increasingly magnetic to money, prosperity, and abundance. Just say that. I am increasingly magnetic. You can say that just by itself if it's not about money. But you want to affirm that you are magnetic. You want to put that thought into your mind. You want to put it out there. There are some basic principles to becoming more magnetic to what you want. Now, first, it is best if you know how what you are asking for will be the appropriate expression for whatever higher quality you want to express more frequently in your life. As you magnetize something, think of the quality you want to radiate. Second, it is helpful to magnetize the essence or features of what you want as well as the specific form. You can magnetize a symbol of what you want if you do not know its actual form. Symbols are very powerful because they bypass all your thoughts and beliefs about what you think is possible for you to have. Third, ask for what you want or even more. And fourth, love and intend to have what you're asking for. Love is the key to this form of magnetism. You must love it. You will want to think positively about what you want, for high positive thoughts are more magnetic than worry, fear, and tension. Worry, fear, and tension are magnetic to those things that are fearful and worrisome, but not to the things that you want. And fifth, believe what you're asking for is possible to have. This is hard. You can affirm to yourself, all things are possible. Understand that whatever it is, no matter how crazy it is, that it is possible. You must say this to yourself and believe it, because it is a fundamental part of the magnetism that you want. Sixth, it is important not to need what you're calling to you, but rather to have a certain detachment about it. It's almost like when you need something and you badly want it, that you push it away. It's the opposite of magnetic. So there is this detachment. There is levels to your desire and thinking. And one of the levels is your desperation, your need. And whatever magnetic processes that you begin, you create an opposing force. Balancing forces come into play. So you have to have a certain detachment about it. Let it be all right if it does not come. The feeling of being okay with not getting what you want makes it more magnetic. Why? I don't know. It's very frustrating. I have used this example before. It's like the Chinese finger toy. The harder you try, the harder it is to escape. It's all right if it doesn't come, or if it comes in a different form from what you expect. After you've asked for something, surrender to whatever comes as being appropriate. Neville Goddard referred to this as keeping the Sabbath. On the seventh day in the Bible, God rested when he created the universe, right? So that is a part of God's creation, and it is a part of you creating. You go about visualizing, magnetizing the image, feeling it, feeling this magnetic power, and then you let it go. The easiest things to magnetize are small objects that are similar to other items you've already created, perhaps even in the same price range. So it's good to start with something that you feel you can succeed in creating. Creating it will give you feedback and confidence in your developing magnetizing skill. As you practice on these smaller objects, see if you can fine-tune your ability to get exactly what you want or something even better than you are picturing. Play with how quickly and easily you can attract it. As your skill increases, you can magnetize things that are larger, more expensive, or more challenging for you to believe you might have. Once you have some small things that are magnetically attracted, say a quartz crystal. Once you have something that is smaller, that is coming to you, then it'll be so much easier for you to magnetize those larger things because you'll believe that it's possible. When you magnetize something, there will be a point at which you suddenly feel it coming to you. It may feel as if there's a click or a feeling of building energy. Sometimes I feel it in my solar plexus or in my heart. Everybody's a little bit different, but you will feel it in your body, even in your mind. And the feeling of building energy will begin to lessen. When you feel this, it is a signal that your magnetizing is complete, and you can stop magnetizing. When you get better at this, you're going to know when it's good to stop. If there has been no click, if you do not feel closer to having it, magnetize again until you feel an inner sense that the energy has shifted. Many of you are not aware of energy in your body or the energy flowing around you. And so this exercise and process will help you to become aware of this energy. And the more fine-tuned you are, the better you will know when the energy has shifted. That is when it becomes magnetic. In the comments, please put examples of when you felt like you knew for sure something was going to come. In as much detail as you can. Maybe you felt it in your stomach. Maybe you felt a heat. Be specific about the feeling of the shift. Everybody's a little different, but you can start to see patterns when everybody describes this feeling of the click. You have the ability to know when your magnetism is working. Some people don't believe this. They say, oh, it suddenly pops up. But you have the ability to know when it's working. This inner knowing is developed over time through observation and awareness of the process and through the feedback of the results you produce. As you practice, sometimes you'll want to magnetize several times, and other times once will be enough. Most of you use too much energy and power to create small results. you can learn how to put out a small amount of energy and create big results. There is a proper amount of energy for creating whatever you want. For instance, if you want to attract your next meal, you do not usually need to spend the entire day thinking about it and pleading with the universe to have it and working at drawing it to you. That's too much energy. And that's the energy a lot of you are putting out for a specific person or for a new job. Some of you use far too much of your vital force to attract something that is as simple to create as a meal. And this extra energy gets circumvented. It can derail the magnetism process. If you've ever used a magnet, sometimes when they're too strong, it sort of pushes things away, or it makes it more difficult to have control over the magnet. Learn to sense how much energy it will take to get what you want, then put out just that amount and no more. And say this to yourself, say it with me. I create what I want with energy. Good things come to me easily. You can say that. That gets you aware in your mind that you're connected to the energy is creating, and that it's easy. I create what I want with energy. Good things come to me easily. If you're exerting too much energy, which is so common, it's discussed in reality transurfing. They call it excess potential. Anything that you desperately want, you will never get because you're using the energy in the wrong way and you're creating imbalances in energy, and nature always creates a balance. Walter Russell discusses this. Reality transurfing discusses this. You can simply see the nature of this balancing property just by going out in your backyard and looking at nature and the plants and the water. Everything is always in balance. If you're using too much energy, it will feel like a strain. If you must constantly remind yourself to think about something you want and work on it, if magnetizing feels like a struggle or a job and you're putting out a tremendous amount of energy for just a little or no result, you are putting out too much magnetic intensity. If you have to apply too much power, you're probably going against the current of your higher path. If when you think of something you can almost feel it coming, you are using the right amount of energy. If you use too small an amount, it will not come to you at all, or it may take a long time to come. It is possible to use too small an amount, but it's more likely you will use too much energy, in my experience. You can know if you are exerting too small an amount of energy too, because what you want will seem far away. It will seem like a wish more than a certainty. Check your feelings. When you feel that certainty, that click, that knowing, that inner knowing, that's when you've used the appropriate amount of energy. And it is a long-term process of learning, very much like throwing a baseball. You might have to throw it several times until you get the spin right and the angle right and the velocity and the technique. So don't treat it like you're going to sit down after this and just immediately attract and magnetize what you want. Before you attract something that has much larger energy than what you have now, you must learn to harmonize with its energy. A very good way of understanding the importance of this, if you wanted to become the president of the United States, it would require a massive amount of energy. And it's very similar, as I describe in my book, to jumping on a fast-moving train. The energy of that train and you are not synced. For you to get on that train, you must be going close to the same speed in order to attach to that train, right? You must learn to harmonize with the energy of what you want. And that is such an important learning experience. For instance, if you want a sum of money that is much larger than what you have, a large sum of money, you will want to be ready for it, to know it in advance, how you're going to store it, what you will use it for, and how it will help your life. You're wanting to imagine how you will feel when you have it. If you don't know how you're going to feel when a large sum of money comes, you're not ready. Resolve any concerns you may have about receiving it. A lot of times people will contact me saying the large sums of money, meditation is not working, Brian. And then after I speak with them and talk to them a little bit about it, they can't contemplate what it will feel like, and they're scared of receiving it, and they are not prepared. There's some part of their subconscious that is pushing it away with fear. Almost the opposite of magnetism. Before you magnetize anything that is much larger than what you have now, play with wearing the energy of what you will draw to you. Imagine that you already have it, and look at how your life is different because of it. You can learn to harmonize and become familiar with things before you have them. As you do, you will become more magnetic to having them. This part of the process is perhaps the most important part. It's the part that Neville Goddard talks about. You want to experience, assume that it's happening now, becoming familiar with it, then you become magnetic to it. One way to harmonize with something that is much larger than you have now is to expand what you've asked for. If you want a sum of money that is much larger than what you have, try wearing an even larger sum. So you need 50,000, try wearing 100,000. Continue trying out increasingly large sums of money, and the less ones seem easier to deal with energetically. You will notice that as the amount increases, the way you feel and think changes. Some amounts may feel comfortable, but higher sums may feel slightly uncomfortable. As you wear larger sums, you may find that a smaller sum that initially felt uncomfortable becomes more comfortable. Only magnetize what feels comfortable and possible to have. The more you feel comfortable with money or anything, because money is just one thing. At any energy level, before you magnetize it, the more easily that it will come to you. Get comfortable with it. Are you comfortable with what you want to magnetize? Observe closely how your thoughts about yourself might change, how your feelings and your lifestyle would be different. Drawing this will draw out any hidden fear, such as having this might mean too much responsibility, or I will have to worry more about taxes and accounting. People will want my money. That's something that I went through. I was always concerned about all of the tasks that would be involved, all the bureaucracy that would be involved with the money, and I oftentimes pushed the money away. When I was aware of this belief and I dissolved it, and I realized later it wasn't so difficult as I thought. It's never as difficult as you think. If you're tricking yourself to thinking, oh, I couldn't deal with that, it's just too complicated, then you're wrong. You are absolutely wrong. It's a belief that you've got somewhere along the way from your parents or from a TV show or something. And as you deal with these doubts or worries, you make it possible to become more magnetic to what you want. When you first work with these exercises, the results may be less consistent and the timing less controllable than you would like. Eventually, the steps will become automatic, and the amount of work that you do to magnetize what you want will decrease each time. Do these exercises only as long as you find them enjoyable and interesting. It should not be a chore. It should not be a struggle. Magnetize what you want as frequently as you like for a few minutes or half an hour. After you master one level of magnetism, you might still need to work a bit more to produce results at your next level and attract things that are hard for you to accept as possible in your life. Once you master creating a particular type of thing, all you will usually need to do in the future is think of it for it to manifest readily. When you begin this process, it's hard. Then it's going to be so easy that you're going to stop. You're going to have everything that you want. You won't need to magnetize everything. And you're going to be careful about what you magnetize because you'll become more and more powerful. If you're able to manifest something easily and then the flow stops or begins to lessen, or attracting it requires too much work, it may be time to examine more carefully the actual path that you're on. Pay close attention to any whispers of new directions that are emerging. Oftentimes, that's a sign for a change on your path. You can do these exercises by yourself or with a partner or with a group of people. If you're doing them alone, you may want to listen to this one time and then play it back before doing the exercise, as they will lead you step by step into a process of magnetism. If you have a partner, you may want your partner to give the instructions to you, or you can just use me as your partner. If you're with a group, you may want one person to go over the instructions to the entire group if you're not using this particular video. But I would make sure that you relax and go back to any previous exercises that I've gone over in relaxing, particularly the exercise, for instance, in my episode, You Are the Source, or just go through your imagination, relaxing each part of your body and remembering feeling peaceful and relaxed. When you use magnetism exercises, you want to keep a record of what you're asking for and be willing to recognize it when it comes. So the first exercise is general magnetizing. You can use this exercise to learn how to create something you want with energy and magnetism. This can be a small or large object, a sum of money, or the essence of what you want. Now, preparation. Pick something that you want. It is important that you believe it is possible to have for now. Eventually, you're going to think that everything's possible. But for now, make this something that you believe is possible to have. Think positively about it and intend to have it. Be as specific as you can about the higher quality it will give you, and imagine this higher quality as you magnetize. You will also want to magnetize the essence it will give you in the specific form or amount if you know it. Expand your imagination and see if you can ask for even more. If you do not know the form, you can magnetize a symbol that represents it. Take a moment now to think of what you want. Find a time and place where you can relax and think without interruption for a few minutes. Remember that what is important is the feeling of magnetism. An image of a coil is used because it has been the most effective in helping people obtain the feeling of magnetism. Once you've achieved this feeling state, use whatever picture or thought helps you to create this feeling in the future. The best results come from playing with the sensations and pictures and being creative and inventive as you magnetize. I'm going to give you a few moments to do that. If you have trouble visualizing a coil, use whatever image comes to mind and trust that it is the perfect image for you to work with. You do not need to visualize a coil perfectly or exactly for it to work. It is fine if you do not visualize a coil at all or have any pictures, but instead have a sense or feeling of magnetic energy building. This exercise uses your imagination. There are no right or wrong ways to do it, to picture the coil. Whatever image you use that feels the best to you will be the one that is most effective. What is most important is you're feeling magnetic as you think of what you want to attract. There's two things. You're thinking of what you want to attract and you're feeling magnetic. And your thoughts that it's possible to have what you are magnetizing. There are no rules about how often to magnetize. You can magnetize what you want once or as often as you are drawn to do so. If it feels like you're pushing or trying hard to make it work, stop for a while. Once you've done the energy work, you will need to take action when it is indicated and be patient, for often no action may be indicated. Oftentimes, bold action is required, but something will happen and you'll know. Trust whatever you have asked for will come in the perfect way, at the perfect time, in the perfect form. So, 1. Think of what you have chosen to magnetize. Get as specific as you can about the details of the item if you know them, and all the functions and features, the essences that you want. Secondly, visualize or sense what you want, making the picture as real as possible. Create a scene in which you imagine yourself receiving it, living out the good feelings you will have as you get it. Enhance your visualization with relaxation techniques. If you cannot visualize what you want, imagine as vividly as possible the feeling that having it will bring you. Or pick a symbol that represents this item or thing and work with the symbol. Use this same picture or symbol every time you magnetize or think about the thing that you've chosen. And 3, imagine that you have a power source within you that generates energy. Then picture a coil like a loop that goes around and around. This coil begins near the area of your solar plexus inside your body and expands outward and upward. Begin to circulate power and energy through this coil by drawing in power from your source. Many people think of this power as coming from their higher selves or souls, or from a higher power, that it might be called God or Goddess, the presence, the all that is, the universe. Use as the source of power whatever feels right to you. You might imagine spinning your magnetic coil in whatever direction feels most comfortable. It is fine if you have no picture of a coil. A feeling of becoming magnetic is all that you need. And 4, as you think of what you want to magnetize, make your coil whatever size you think it will need to be draw what you want to you. Does it need to be the size of your whole body, or smaller or larger? How much power do you need to send through the coil to draw what you want? Use your imagination and play with the size and shape and intensity of the coil until it feels just right. As you do this, you're beginning to generate a magnetic force field around you, magnetizing what you want to you, becoming magnetic, much as a magnet draws iron to it. As you draw what you want to, you evaluate where to bring it into your energy. This may be a specific place in your body. You might imagine a cord going out from your heart, your throat, or your mind, linking with what you want and drawing it to you. You may want to imagine it coming into your hands, or it may feel more comfortable to disperse the energy of what you want all around you. For instance, a large sum of money may affect many areas of your life. Thus, when you draw it to you, you might want to imagine it all around you rather than in a specific place. 6th, as the magnetic energy in your coil builds, imagine you have events need to occur before you have this thing that you want. There are a certain number of steps you will take and events that will occur to get what you want. You can control the rate at which those events and steps occur, be it 1, 2, or 50 a day. Begin to work with the time element in manifesting by getting a feeling or picture of how many steps and events are involved. Try speeding up or slowing down the rate at which you take these steps and have these events occur until the rate feels just right. If you're attracting this thing or sum of money too quickly, you will feel a sense of tension or pressure. There's a rate of change that is just right for you. Also observe your posture and breathing and notice that you can increase your feeling of being magnetic by slightly altering each. 7, continue generating your magnetic coil until you reach a point that feels like a completion of energy. You may feel a click or a stop, or the energy may start fading. You may have a feeling of certainty that you will get what you are magnetizing. Stop magnetizing when you feel this certainty. You'll notice that the energy builds, crests, and begins to fall away. Build your magnetic coil and magnetize as long as it feels good. If it becomes a struggle or a strain, or if it feels like there is a barrier, stop. You've done enough. Discover what is the right amount of energy to put out to draw what you want to you. And 8, go within and ask your higher self how often to magnetize what you've asked for. That is often an easy step to help you decide what to do. And 9, come gently out of this state and stretch your body all over. So I want you to try it now. I'm going to give you a few minutes, and then we're going to go on to some additional exercises. Now keep doing this exercise until you feel, visualize, sense, and imagine or experience the coil and the energy you're sending out. If you're able to feel the energy build and then retreat, or if you're able to feel a click or a sense of completion, or have a feeling that the building energy has receded, you have begun the process of drawing in what you want. When you feel comfortable with magnetizing a small object, use this exercise for magnetizing something that is greater. You may notice that each time you magnetize something, your coil changes. Sometimes your coil and the amount of energy you circulate through is small. Sometimes you need a larger coil and more energy. Sometimes you'll want to magnetize for at least a minute or longer, and sometimes a few seconds will be enough. Remember to hold positive thoughts about what you request and have a certain detachment about receiving it. Let it be all right if it comes in a different form than you expect, and surrender to having whatever comes as being appropriate for you to have. The next exercise I wanted to do is magnetizing a person that you do not yet know. And you may be able to use this to meet a specific person or somebody in particular. You can use this exercise to draw to you a person you do not yet know. This is best done with people such as potential employers, employees, mechanics, mentors, and others you will have working relationships with. Find a time and place where you can relax and think without interruption for a few minutes. Relax and prepare yourself in the same way that we discussed before. I would definitely understand that by magnetizing, you're going to possibly bring this person into your field, but it may not be a loving relationship. That's a whole other exercise. That's a whole other thing. You're simply magnetizing a person to come into your field. So there are some steps to follow. First of all, think about the person you want to magnetize. Think about or list all the qualities this ideal person would have. Don't leave anything out. What attitudes will he or she have? What skills and knowledge? How will you relate? Be as complete and specific as possible. Secondly, create a scene in which you imagine yourself interacting with this person, or imagine the good feelings you will have about this person. And third, imagine that you have a power source within your heart area that generates energy. Then picture a coil like a loop that goes around and around. This coil begins in the area near your heart inside your body and expands outward and upward. Begin to circulate power and energy through this coil by drawing on your power source. Spin your magnetic coil in whatever direction feels most comfortable. However this coil appears to you is the perfect image for you to use. All that is needed is a sense of magnetic energy building, whether or not you have a picture or image of a coil. And then fourth, as you begin to circulate power and energy through this coil, let go of any neediness. It's very important. It derails the magnetic power if you have any neediness. You can magnetize out of neediness, but it dilutes your effectiveness. Detach and surrender to having the best person come. Know that you cannot force anyone to do anything against his or her free will, and that you can draw someone to you only if it is for the higher good of both of you. Fifth, as you energize the coil and send it out from your heart, think about the ideal person you have described. Imagine that you're connecting with him or her telepathically. As you link, imagine that you have the ability to communicate with this ideal person's soul. Begin to connect with him or her, mentally appreciating the person for all the good or he or she will bring into your life. Tell this person telepathically how you will bring good into his or her life as well. And then sixth, as you put energy through your coil, make it as large as you think it needs to be and add love to the energy in the coil. You're sending a welcoming, inviting feeling. The more love you send, the more magnetic you become. Imagine you are looking at the soul of this person, or perhaps just seeing his or her eyes. Feel the magnetism you are generating through linking your heart with his or her heart. Ask the highest good be created for both of you in your connection. 7, begin to feel this person coming into your energy field, as if he or she is coming from a dream and walking into your reality, until you can almost sense this person in front of you. Thank the person in advance for assisting you. 8, observe your posture and breathing and notice you can increase your feeling of being magnetic by slightly altering each. And 9, keep magnetizing, sending love and drawing this person to you until you feel a completion or a click. Sometimes you'll get an immediate feeling of connection, as if this person is right there. At other times, it may feel as if you're reaching out into a void. When this happens, take another look at that person you think you want to connect with. It may mean that your timing is off, or you need to think things through more thoroughly. There's usually a fairly strong, recognizable click when you have made a connection to the person you seek. 10. You go within and ask your higher self how often to magnetize this person. And then 11, come gently out of this state and stretch your body all over when you're done. And then keep a journal and notice what happens over the following days. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to do this exercise. You can always pause and go back as I go through the steps. And then using this little interlude, you can magnetize a person that you do not yet know. It may take practice to draw in exactly the right person, as well as a willingness to allow yourself to believe you deserve to be served by others. Keep doing this exercise until you are able to feel, visualize, sense, imagine, or experience the magnetic loving energy you are sending out. If you're able to feel the energy build and then retreat, or if you're able to feel a sense of completion or a click, you have made contact and begun the process of attracting the person you want. One woman who used this exercise to magnetize someone to help her with her errands and housework continually attracted people who wanted her to take care of them rather than vice versa. She realized that she believed what she did not deserve to be served by others. She worked with this belief by affirming that she did deserve to have wonderful help. Soon she attracted a woman who was perfect for the job and is still with her. Remember that people you draw to you will be your mirrors. If you are always too tired to honor your higher path, you may draw people to you who are too tired to do good work for you. You may notice a pattern in the people you attract. For example, if you often attract mechanics who do not treat you with respect, you may not be treating yourself with respect, and they may only be mirroring your pattern back to you. Change the pattern within yourself, and then use this exercise again to draw to you the person you want to connect with. Now, the next exercise I wanted to do is to magnetize a number of people. You can use this exercise to magnetize people such as clients for your business, people to participate in a project, people who will benefit from your creative work, students for your classes, or people you can serve or assist in some way. And if you want to be of service to others, as many people as possible, you want to magnetize the people that you can be of service to by using techniques like this. So find a time and place where you can relax and think without interruption for a few minutes. Follow these steps. First of all, think of people that you want to magnetize. Think about a list of all the qualities of these people will have. What are their interests? How can you serve them? What feelings do you have as you think of them? How will you relate to them? Be as complete and specific as possible. And secondly, create a scene in which you imagine yourself interacting with these people or in which you live out the good feelings you will have about them. Third, generate your magnetic coil from your heart. First, make it as large as your body, then as large as you feel drawn to make it. You can even imagine that you're becoming so magnetic your heart becomes like a beautiful, radiant, magnetic sun. And imagine you're sending out a call from your heart to the souls of all the people who may be assisted by your work. Feel yourself drawing them to you. Tell them telepathically how you will make a contribution to their lives with whatever you are offering them. For instance, if you're selling a product, mentally tell them all the ways that product will assist them in making their lives better. When you're focused upon serving or assisting people, you are very magnetic. The key to magnetism is to be of service. It's a little secret people don't know, but once you start being of service, you become very magnetic. Ask for people who value and honor your work, for it is better to attract one person who honors your work rather than 3 who do not. Do not focus on what people will give you or what you want from them, for you are not magnetic when you do. Be aware of what you will offer these people. You will serve their higher good and magnetize with this thought in mind. 4, as you begin to circulate power and energy through your coil, let go of any neediness. Detach and surrender to those who would benefit and are attracted to your work come to you. Know that you cannot force others to do anything against their will, and you can only draw people to you when it is for the higher good of all parties concerned. And then 5th, you become magnetic from your heart. Think about the people you've described. Thank these people in advance for the opportunity to serve them. Imagine your magnetic, attractive energy reaching out through your city, state, entire country, or the whole world. And then 6th, imagine that as people connect with you, they are like light bulbs lighting up. See hundreds, then thousands of lights being turned on all around you. Imagine that lines of light reach back and forth between you and all the people you will reach. How does this feel? Make your vision as real and as inventive as you can. For instance, if you're magnetizing people to reach with your work, imagine what you will feel like when you are reaching 10 new people a week. Sense their energy. Let it be a part of your reality. How will your life change when you reach this number of people? Now imagine reaching 25 new people a week with your work. 7, continue imagining connecting with more and more people. Imagine 50, 100, 1,000, even more new people a week turning into your work or business and being helped by it in some way. And 8, as you connect with more and more people, feel the changes that this will make in your life. As you imagine more and more people, adjust your mental pictures to comfortable include this number of people. Don't be afraid by the number of people. If it does not feel comfortable at first, keep imagining the connection in different ways until it does. The more easily you can imagine this, the more easily you can make it a reality. Ask for the lifestyle, the business structure, and assistance you will need to handle this many people connecting with your work. And then 9, observe your posture and breathing. And notice you can increase your feeling of being magnetic by slightly altering each. 10, stop at whatever level feels most comfortable. Know that at each level you will have the proper setup to make connecting with this number of people acceptable and joyful to you. 11, add love to the energy and send out love to all those people. This will make it more magnetic. And then 12, go within and ask your higher self how often to magnetize. And then 13, come gently out of this state and stretch your body when you're done. I'll give you a minute to try this exercise. You can always come back to it at any time to magnetize a number of people to you. Now that you've completed this, I want you to notice what number of people you reach before you are no longer able to imagine a connection. Visualize connecting with slightly less than that number of people, and make the feeling as joyful, light, and easy as possible. When you're ready to move up to a large number, as you learn to feel comfortable with large numbers of people, you'll be creating the necessary changes in your energy to bring these people into your life. The final exercise I wanted to go over is group magnetizing. It's almost a purposeful form of pendulum, but it's very powerful, and it's part of the magnetizing process. One of the most powerful magnetizing techniques is getting together with others and sending energy to each person to create what he or she is asking for. The energy of a group magnifies many times the ability to create money, objects, events, and forms. A group holding a common thought can make that thought a reality even more powerfully than an individual. You can do this anywhere, including in a public place. Before starting, pick someone to lead the exercise, and you can do this together. You can do this on Zoom. You can do this in groups. You can do this when you meet together. And first of all, the leader starts by explaining to the group the following procedure. Each person asks for only one thing at a time. The group then magnetizes what the person has requested. This may be followed by a brief comment by anyone who would like to say something. And then secondly, the leader then asks everyone in the group to get quiet for a moment and decide upon one specific thing to ask for. When the group is ready, the leader picks one person to start. I did this exercise in the RealityCon event, and I just had everybody in the group say it at the same time, but it can be also effective by doing it individually. Third, as each person in turn tells the group what he or she would like the group to assist him or her in magnetizing, the leader balances between helping the person be as clear as possible about the request and keeping a smooth and flowing pace. The most successful results come from requests for something specific, something that for that person seems possible to have. For instance, a person who asks for money will want to be as specific as possible. 4, if the request is vague, for instance, if someone asks for happiness, the leader might ask how this person would know if he or she had happiness. This will help this person recognize what he or she is asking for when it comes. If the request for something that is hard to visualize or the person does not know clearly what is wanted, the person making the request may want to think of a symbol that would represent what is requested. The leader will assist each person in being brief and focused. And then 5th, after someone states a request, everyone present closes their eyes and sends this person energy. And during this time, the person who is asking for something might want to think of how having this object or this sum of money or whatever he or she asked for will benefit both his or her and others' higher good. This person will want to think of the essence of the request and feel the higher qualities such as love or peace or aliveness and joy that having it will bring as the group sends energy. The person being sent energy should create a magnetic feeling or state using the techniques offered or any others that come to mind. And 6th, those who send energy are helping to increase the person's ability to be magnetic and to attract whatever is being focused on. There are an infinite number of ways to send energy to someone. Use your imagination and do whatever feels good. Be playful and imaginative with your pictures. First time a group uses this exercise, the leader can explain that it only takes a moment for the energy to be received. The leader monitors the energy as it's being sent. You'll probably feel the energy come to a peak and then start falling. This usually happens within 3 to 5 seconds. When the energy starts falling away, the leader calls an end and says thank you. 7th, people are often so enthusiastic after sending energy to someone, they want to discuss what they saw and the insights they received afterward. If there is time, you may want to have a brief comment period to share insights and experience after each person has been sent energy. This can also be done for the entire group after all requests have been magnetized. The leader monitors the time spent on the feedback. When one person's request is complete, the leader asks the next person to state his or her request. You can go around the group and magnetize the request as often as you would like. I'm not leaving a moment of silence for this one. You can do this after with any group that you want. You can always come back and listen to this for all the steps that you're doing. It's not difficult. You just work as a group. A group of 8 is seemingly the most effective number, but I've done it with larger groups or smaller groups. At the end of the session, you will have generated a lot of energy. And you might want to offer that energy to humanity, the animal, the plant, the mineral kingdoms, and the universe. Simply sit together and quietly imagine you are dispersing the extra energy that you have generated to all the kingdoms to be used for their good. The more energy you send out, the more energy will come back to you. You can magnetize anything. And when you think of magnetizing on these larger scales, in groups, together, we start to form the social memory complex. We start to integrate our fields together into a larger field. And we become magnetic as a group. And as a group, we can magnetize the whole world and the whole universe. Magnetism is a specific facet of reality creation. It is bringing stuff to you. Not necessarily quantum jumping or reality shifting, but it is very effective and very specific. If you want to bring stuff to you, then you want to try these techniques. Magnetism works, and you can magnetize whatever it is that you want. Learn how to understand your energy and try these techniques and exercises. I promise you that you will find success. I simply ask you to put in the comments your success stories. It will help others to believe that it's possible, that they can magnetize what they want. So put it in the comments. I can't wait to read it. I'm magnetizing you so that love comes to you, so that light comes to you. And you're magnetized now, that light and love are just attracted to you more than ever before. And I want you to feel that. You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com. And welcome to The Reality Revolution.